Are you self-sabotaging? Welcome to Beauty and the Gi, the podcast about Jiu-Jitsu and so much more. I'm Jen Eads, a blue belt. That's it.
I'm not curious about anything.
No.
You're definitely not curious about self-sabotaging.
No, absolutely not. Nope.
I'm AJ Klingerman, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, obsessed with Jiu-Jitsu. I have to tell you, on our way to Tennessee a couple weeks ago, we were listening to the podcast and Rissa was like, "Are you dancing to your own theme song?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a bop."
Why would we not
Exactly.
dance to...
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Exactly. So I'm like, dun, 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 dun. Can't help myself.
Silly Risser.
It's fine.
So you have some thoughts on self-sabotage. I mean, we actually talked about multiple forms of sabotage, but decided to narrow it down just to self-sabotage for this one.
Yeah. So I think there, like you said, there's a lot of different people that could be sabotaging you. Mm-hmm. I do think that you're the most important one.
Yes.
And kind of you're the only one you can change. I mean, you can get rid of the people in your life that are sabotaging you.
Right.
But you can't necessarily change their behavior. So
true.
We figured we'd talk about self-sabotage first.
What inspired this?
I don't know. I feel like it's just been several conversations, especially like on the Women's Grappling Network, and just a lot of conversations that it's like, you know, we should talk about this a little bit, because I think sometimes pointing something out or giving something a name kind of helps you recognize, oh, that's me doing that, or that's them doing that, or, you know.
So my apologies if you feel personally called out.
Yeah. Well,
it's not
the
about
shoe fits.
you.
It might be though.
It might be.
And the thing is, like,
and that's okay.
Exactly. It's okay. It's okay. Like, I'm sure we've all self-sabotaged at some point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, you know, calling it out and trying to make some changes.
What is the first thing you think it looks like?
I mean, I think it's easy to just start with like class. You know, maybe it's little things like you didn't drink enough water. Oh, that's the way I self-sabotage on a daily. Didn't drink enough water, didn't get enough protein, and didn't get enough sleep.
I mean, those are big.
Those are huge.
In the scheme of,
yeah.
And just everyday functioning in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like eating something that you know is going to make you feel crappy when you're rolling.
Oh, yeah.
Even the night before. As you get older, you learn you have to, you know, give me 5 days. But no, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Maybe. But I'm going to feel sick if I eat things that don't make me feel good.
Yeah.
Or not warming up before class.
I just can't. I can't not warm up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I just know it's going to go
Warm up
badly.
in some way. Like, you really need to warm your muscles up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you have to be like fully sweating, like that kind of warm up, and then stop and sit on the line and learn the moves. But you should be doing some stuff so that when you have to like do a sweep or whatever you're drilling that day, you can move. Yes. Yesterday, Rissa was teaching class and I had several people I was helping. I was very busy up front in the lobby. And she asked to do the third move on me. So I ran out and she started to do it. And my spine was like, absolutely not. She could not move me. I was just like stiff. I was like, well, I'm sorry I didn't get to warm up or anything. She was like, I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it. I was like, yeah, you need to warm up, right?
Yes.
So that's one way. That's a few ways that you can self-sabotage just from a class standpoint.
Yeah.
I think another form of self-sabotage is the downward spiral.
Yes.
You want to talk about that one?
Why me?
I don't know. I just thought you might be an expert.
Well, we have determined I'm an expert in something now. Great.
Okay, you're not an expert. But
No, I kind of am. I'm going to just own that. Dr. Eads, the expert in the downward spiral. Just owning that.
But how is that a form of self-sabotage?
Because you get in your head and then you just live there.
Yeah.
And it is not fun for you or anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awful, number one. And then it just, once you're in that state, once you are in the spiral, it's so hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck. And then everything, I think, gets just amplified. It's just that much worse.
Yeah.
So then when you're driving home, it's not just that your jiu-jitsu sucks. It's that you suck.
Yeah.
And life sucks and people suck. And for me, that one really extends beyond
Beyond
the mat.
Yeah.
And then I'm sabotaging other things.
That's real. That's very real.
Yeah.
Is there any advice that you would give to others? Like, because I think you've definitely been doing a lot better not spiraling. There's still times, right?
There are days.
There are days. It's okay. But what's changed? What do you think you've worked on to make that less?
Moving on, like recognizing it. Oh, I could go down the spiral, or I could just do jiu-jitsu and try to get myself out of the hot mess I'm in currently.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or just being like, well, this is where I live now. I'm gonna live under mount for the next 3 minutes because I can't get out. I mean, that's how I talk sometimes. I'm like, I'm still gonna bump around and stuff, but like some people, you just can't move, and it's like, well, all right, I'm gonna hope they try to attack something so that I can either use that opening to defend, or I can use their weight change or whatever, or I can tap and we can start over. Like, that's fine too. It's just class. I've never seen anyone get any medals or ribbons in class. Ribbons.
Sometimes there's candy.
Sometimes there is a candy. Sometimes there's candy. But still, you get the candy for the effort. I just want to clarify that.
Okay, good to know.
Not just for winning, but I think that, like, tap and start over. Don't tap because, like, oh, you were going to go for an arm bar, or, I just wanted out of that position necessarily. Like, you still should try to fight it, but it's okay to tap and move on.
Well, I think also getting yourself back to being present in that position, like rather than letting your mind start to wander. So like you said, this is where I'm living potentially for the next few minutes. What if I look for a way out instead of just accept it? What if I try to do jiu-jitsu in this moment?
Yeah.
Instead of beating myself up while they're beating me up.
Right.
Now, will I be able to put that into practice? That's the test.
That's the test. And it's hard every time.
Every time.
I think also something you've done is coming in with a goal. For a certain person, you're like, if I roll with this person, I'm going to try and do this, or I'm going to try to not let them do this. And
yes, I've made up my own point system for some people.
I love that, right? Yeah. So that can be really good. If it doesn't happen, though, do you start to downward spiral, or are you like, well, there's always tomorrow?
I've been known to. It depends on the day, and I think so much of it depends on what is happening outside of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Which I would love to mentally have the fortitude to leave it all at the door, but I'm just not there yet.
Yeah. Well, and just like jiu-jitsu, downward spiral can affect the rest of your life. The rest of your life's downward spiral can affect your jiu-jitsu.
Very true.
She didn't know this was going to feel like a therapy session.
It doesn't get easier.
I think it does. It does. I'm 100% sure it has gotten easier for you, or that you've at least learned to handle it better.
Yeah.
I know that there are still days, but I definitely have seen a huge improvement in that. Now, with that said, I think there is back and forth, right? Because I think when you first start jiu-jitsu, most people are just like, well, yeah, I assume I'm going to get beat up.
Yeah.
And then you start to learn stuff and you're like, ooh, I can beat people up. And then you're like, shoot, I'm getting beat up. It's back and forth all the time. And it will always be like that. I'm close to getting my first degree as a black belt, and there are blue belts here that beat me up 100%.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I have nothing for him. Like, I don't know what to do to him.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. It's okay. Somebody call 911. Did you know that our theme for camp this year is fire? As the fire trucks go by.
That was so subtle and smooth.
Thank you. Thank you.
God, you're a black belt everywhere.
I had my black belt in marketing long before.
Right? What does it look like for you when you feel the downward spiral coming on, and how do you get out of it?
I would say, I still definitely get there, right? And I think for me, sometimes the downward spiral is happening even before rolls, because I basically took all of last year not rolling.
Yeah.
So I would drill, and I just prepared for pants and competed in pants. So I've been back on the mat, but class will be happening and I'll just start thinking like, well, maybe I shouldn't roll tonight. And I've tried to be, because I have health issues and I am sick a good portion of the time. So I've tried to just change my motto there to be like, if I feel well, I'm not going to save it. Because sometimes it'll be Monday and I'll be like, well, I really want to roll Tuesday and Thursday this week. I want Tuesday and Thursday to be my hard rounds night.
Yeah.
But then I end up being sick. I don't know when that's going to be or how it's going to feel. So I don't want to save it. I want the nights that I'm like, okay, I feel pretty good tonight. I'm going to roll as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I think for me, most of the downward spiral even comes before I'm rolling, because I'm already telling myself, well, maybe you should just roll a different time. Like you can't expect yourself to roll every class. And then I roll not many classes.
Yeah.
So
that's an interesting self-sabotage.
yeah, it really is. It really is. And I think that's part of why I like competing so much, because it forces me to get out there and train. Yeah. I know I've got something to work towards. Otherwise, it's easy to just be like, nah, there's always tomorrow.
Right.
It's, I guess, a form of procrastination, but there's no deadline.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's just like, oh, well, I'll just train tomorrow. It's fine.
Yeah.
So that's my self-sabotage.
What about self-sabotage going into competition?
So I think this can happen in several different ways for people. It can be not training your game plan. I've had a student fairly recently that said in the tournament he started trying to go for other things because he hadn't been repping his game plan enough. Or like getting bored with your game plan. Find ways to make it interesting. This is your game plan. You need to work on this. Registering for a weight class that you don't belong in.
Oh, yeah.
And then not doing the work to cut the weight.
Yeah.
And food and drinking and stuff like that, that's your own decisions. Getting ready for PANS for 8 weeks before PANS, I didn't have a drink. I said, I'll probably have one on Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. I didn't. Like, it just,
yeah.
And it didn't need to be 8 weeks. That was just my own thought process. But I try to eat better and do healthier things. And
yeah,
that was one of them. So Federation, we talked actually last podcast about missing weight, right? Mm-hmm. So we had a student once that the night before competition ate waffles and then came in overweight.
Oh,
so then his nickname for years afterwards was Waffles, because that's who people are. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like that was a form of self-sabotage, right? Like not paying attention to what your weight is. Like if you're close, not following it. Like maybe he did belong in that weight class, but he ate really heavy foods the night before.
Yeah.
And he only missed by like 0.1 or something. It was barely over.
Oh, gosh.
But it was also when we first started doing the Federation, so we didn't realize how strict it was.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to another Federation tournament a couple years later, and one of our students goes out drinking. So Chicago Open was like gi on Saturday, no gi on Sunday. So Saturday night, one of the students goes out drinking a bunch, misses weight. Not sorry at all. And kept saying, now you can call me Fireball. Now Fireball can be my nickname. And I was like, you do not get to pick your own nickname, especially when you did this on purpose. Right. But yeah, so those were both absolutely forms of self-sabotage. Like, I think the first one was more innocent for sure.
Yeah.
But you have to pay attention to those things. You have to weigh in the next day. Like, I have flown with a scale or bought a scale when I got to somewhere.
Yeah.
I have stayed in houses before that I then rented out the next year and my scale was still there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's so nice. The house we were at in PANS this year had a scale and we were like, I bet a jiu-jitsu person stayed here before. There's no way there's a scale at this Airbnb if it weren't for a jiu-jitsu person. Yeah, those are definitely forms of self-sabotage too. Or like not showing up to train. I think in all the years, I've owned a gym for 25 years, and the week or two before competition oftentimes gets light in classes.
That's so interesting to me. Like, why would you sign up if you're not going to train?
Self-sabotage.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's what this is
the
about.
theme of the...
Right. Got it.
That happens with promotions too. Not for... okay, let's talk about promotions as a whole, because I've got a couple different thoughts on this.
Okay.
So some schools, when you're going to be promoted, right? We're doing promotions on such and such date. And a lot of people will stop coming to class for a while. Won't show up to promotions because they don't want to level up because they already have imposter syndrome. For us, we don't tell people when they're getting promoted, but that doesn't mean I don't say, hey, you need to work on this. Like, this is what I need to see from you before your next belt. And then I don't see that at all. And I'll remind them. Like, I'm always reminding you. Like, I'm not trying to harp on you, but like, if you don't do any escapes, you probably can't level up to blue belt, right? Like, I need you to be working on your escapes.
Yeah.
Or I need you to have some kind of a guard, like just whatever that is. And then, I'm like, hey, are you supposed to be working guard? Or like, I need you to start in the bottom sometimes. Like, you can't always be winning every round. Like, you have to. And because I think sometimes people think that, like, well, I'm winning every round. Why do I have to? Because you're going to fight somebody as big and strong and, blue belt's deep waters, right?
Yeah.
So I know why I'm telling you I want you to work on these things. And then if you don't, you're telling me you want to live where you are. And sometimes that's okay.
Is there anything you need to tell me?
You know what you need to work on. We talk about it on the podcast. That's it.
Everyone knows what I need.
Everyone knows. Yeah. They can all remind you. Somebody even sent you a rash card for it.
That's true. I'm wearing it in class today. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's just it though.
Yeah.
Like for Jennifer, it was, I need you to work on things like tapping and not talking and, she doesn't listen to the podcast, so I can talk about her.
Right. You know who does listen to the podcast?
Who?
Amy Dillon.
Amy Dillon. You know who's here right now?
Amy Dillon.
Amy Dillon. Not in the building, but,
no, but
she
at
did
my
train
house
last night and at your house right now. Yes.
Hi, Amy Dillon.
Hi.
I love that we can just work these shout outs in.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Do we think we've talked about most of the forms of self-sabotage?
Well, we hit promotions, competition, the downward spiral. I think we got a lot. You tell us, friends, what have we left out? Where have you self-sabotaged? I'll make that a question in Spotify. You can answer it there, or you can leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Or if you're like, I don't really want to tell the whole world where I've self-sabotaged, I'll just shoot us a DM. We're hanging out on Instagram at Beauty and the Gi Podcast. I'm there at Brassy Broad Jen.
And I'm AJ Klingerman everywhere you go.
And I do want a quick camp update. How are we?
Yeah. Oh, I have a really cool camp update.
Okay.
So this came from me. Like, I would go to a seminar and just be like, I want to learn everything that they know. You know, like I love this person. I love their vibe. I want to learn from them. They're across the country or whatever. Like, it's not possible. So obviously we have like YouTube and Patreon and instructionals and all of that. I was just sitting around like, how could we make this a thing? And I was like, you know what? I actually only follow 2 Patreons, and I have one. And the 2 that I follow are Rachel and Elena, who are both the instructors. Me, Rachel, Elena. We're the 3 instructors for camp this year. And I was like, hey, ladies, what do you think about this? So every woman that is registered for our indie base camp by May 15th, okay? So by May 15th, including the people that have already registered, okay, you will get 3 free months to all 3 of our Patreons.
That's way cool.
I know. I'm so excited about it.
It's like you get to take camp home with you.
I know. Exactly. So I'm sure that probably a lot of the techniques that they're teaching at camp are probably also on their Patreon. Mm-hmm. The one cool thing about doing it at camp is you get like live interaction, right? Like you get to have adjustments made or ask questions if you didn't understand something, which doesn't come as easy through Patreon. But how nice will it be to like go back and see them teaching that and a lot of other stuff probably around that same system and the rest of their jiu-jitsu. And I'm very excited about it.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I remembered to ask.
I'm so glad too. And like I said, everybody that's already registered will also get it. So it's not like if you had to wait to get this special deal. We're going to give it to everybody. We're already more than 50% sold out. I haven't looked at the math lately, but we were 50% sold out a couple weeks ago, and kids are more than 50. I think kids are at 60.
Okay.
So get registered. You can put $200 down. You don't have to pay in full.
Nice.
I'm so excited.
All right, friends, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the mat.
Beauty and the Gi is a...
Oh, shit, thank you. Beauty and the Gi is a production of the Brassy Broadcasting Company.
And brought to you by Role Model Grappling.
Takes a village.